Your website is either making you money or secretly costing you clients. And if you think that a sleek design is enough, I want you to think again. Kris Jones is here to reveal the three biggest website mistakes that are repelling potential buyers and the tiny story driven shifts that turn your site into a client magnet. Welcome to the Superhuman Selling Podcast. Your website is either making you money or secretly costing you clients. And if you think that a sleek design is enough, I'm going to invite you today to think again. Kris Jones is here to reveal the three biggest website mistakes that are repelling your potential buyers and these tiny story driven shifts you can make that will turn your site into a client magnet. Who doesn't want that? Kris Jones, welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you and just to be in your energy. You are a brilliant, brilliant marketer, strategist. You're an amazing human being. You're an incredible mama. And I just love and adore you. And I am so excited to have you on today. So, welcome to the show.
Elise, the feeling is completely mutual, and I am thrilled to be here today.
Yes. And you were on like years ago. I mean, it's been a minute. I was thinking about that this morning. Just about, oh my gosh, how much has changed. You've got there's even some we can't even talk about. You got cool projects in the works that if people follow you and we'll link all of your social, they'll get to like see as things happen. But I know you've got really incredible things in the works. You're a strategic storyteller at Red Door Stories. And I know that your whole focus is around empowering business owners to show up confidently online through really simplified messaging, clean design, and a clear marketing roadmap as well. So, again, everyone needs this, everyone wants this. One of the things that I know you do in your zone of genius, and I want to ask you about, is that you've helped clients go from struggling to being fully booked. And you even have shared about having a client who went from 30K to 300K months using your website method, which is a big deal. And I feel like any of us would be excited for that. So, for that client, what was the shift that they made that you helped them make for that growth?
The beautiful thing about story is it doesn't matter what phase of business you're in, right? If you're making 30K months, that's wonderful. These guys, it was a crypto company, and they were right at the 30K a month arena. And really, we applied the same story driven principles that I apply to all my clients' websites. So, what we shifted for them was really connecting with the visitor. When somebody comes to your website, you don't want to talk all about yourself. I liken your website to like a first 5-minute coffee date. If you were to sit down with somebody, you wouldn't launch into a soliloquy about everything about you. You would sit down and you'd take a moment to really connect with them. And that's what we did on their website. We really made their visitor, their ideal client, the hero of their story. And we took the time to connect with them to really articulate the struggles that they're going through and truly help them feel seen and heard and not alone in their struggle. And just doing that one thing, we did a bunch more to their website, but just doing that one thing on your website can make all the difference. And it goes from like landing on a website and, not feeling a connection to landing on a website and having it feel like a really warm, welcoming hug. That's really what we want. When it's done well, that's what it feels like.
Ah, that makes so much sense. And I think a lot of times we miss the context of things and we think, oh, because it's online, like I don't have to think about the human experience. I think about people in the crazy DMs they send on social media where, hey, let me try to pitch you something right away. And the analogy I often give with that is it's kind of like in a networking event, sitting down and just immediately trying to sell something, which is literally what you were saying here in website context, which is so powerful. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do a fun little game here called the website confessional. And we're gonna call out some of the biggest website mistakes that are costing business owners sales. And so I would love to hear your perspective on this because I know you have a perspective and oftentimes see mistakes business owners making that they don't really realize. And you just spoke to one of them. So if you could elaborate it, like, what is the number one mistake that you see over and over with business owners making on their websites?
Well, the number one mistake I see is that a business owner, starts their own business and they're like, I've got to get a website up and I've got to get it up fast and I need an online presence. So they go to Wix or Squarespace and they pick a template that's really beautiful and they kind of follow the lead of what the template tells them to do. And I really love Squarespace. I love Wix. I love the cloud builders that really make it easy for us as a business owner to have a website. But those companies, they're in the business of a brochure website, meaning just kind of a static, pretty website that doesn't actually work for you. When what a business owner needs is really an effective website, they need a tool, they need their website to act as their top sales employee so they can really focus on the work that they love to do and just send everybody to their website knowing with confidence that it's going to sell for them.
That makes yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? So, it and I think when we're building a brand and when we're growing, especially with AI, it's like it's so easy to just plug and play things. Say, okay, I need a site, let me just get it done. I need social media, let me get it done. We take the heart out of it, right? We take the connection out of it. So I appreciate even you with what you do saying, don't just get it done. Like make sure that you're intentional about it. I'd love to hear your perspective on kind of these 3 different scenarios, mistakes that people will make with their site. So the first is, what some might call, like, the corporate snooze fest, right? So it's cold, it's impersonal tone. What would you say to someone who's doing that? And this is something you see a lot.
I think the key to really good copy is that it feels like they're meeting you in person, right? It should really feel like an extension of you. So when you read the language on your website, does it really feel like something that you would say? It's so refreshing when we go to a website and the tone feels conversational and personal and not overly analyzed and corporatized and professionalized. Like some casual tones really allow that human nature and that heart to come forward. And without it, you just kind of miss an opportunity for a connection.
What would you say to someone who maybe has what we might call, like, a mystery website, right? Where it's super unclear what they do or sell. I feel like you're gonna have a strong opinion on this one.
Use storytelling, just don't look at your competitors for inspiration. Just really tune into your own self and really understand what you're doing. Talk to your clients and think about client calls that you've had with potential clients or your clients. Really hone into their words. What are the things that they're complaining about to you in their words? And that can really help guide you toward the language that you want to use on your website.
Okay. I love that. And then the final one is, let's say it's like an endless maze, right? Where there's so many pages, there's no real clear call to action. I'm assuming you see this one all the time. How do you
All the
work with
time.
clients on that?
All the time. Yeah, I liken this to somebody landing on your page and or your website, and you're sending them on a scavenger hunt to go to multiple pages, to scroll, to try and figure things out, and to really work hard to understand what it is that you do and how you can help them. And the human brain just will not do that. I mean, number one, we're inundated with information coming at us from every angle. So we have to be really clear and concise and simple and direct in our language. And then the other thing is just you want to meet them where they are. So you're really, when you send them on a scavenger hunt, you're really you're forcing their brain to burn a lot of calories in order to get you. And our brains are they will deny that. They will say, "No, this is not the best use of my time." The other thing it does is it undermines you as an expert. If someone lands on your page and you're not clear about what you do, then you're not going to be the right guide or the right coach or the right professional to solve my problem because you're unclear about what you do. So how could you effectively help me?
That's a really good point, and that's probably, I would imagine, even, like, a subconscious decision that someone is making in the moment. They're not even realizing it, but if they don't feel clear when they land on your site, they're probably looking for clarity themselves. I hadn't thought about it that way, so they're probably gonna say no, their brain's gonna reject it.
And in addition to that, subconsciously, their experience, right? You only have one chance to make a first impression. Their experience on your website is unconsciously representative of what it's gonna be like to work with you. So if it's effortful and confusing and complicated and there's lots of copy I have to sift through, that's gonna tell me that working with you is also gonna be that way.
That is a great I don't think I've ever heard someone say it that way, but it makes so much sense, which is part of why I know you incorporate a lot of neuroscience and just psychology into what you do. I wanna ask you, so this is so fun because I feel like we're getting just this, like, mini masterclass on on website design, and people are already probably saying, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot I can take away from this." So, you teach something called the homepage test, where we wanna make sure that people are hooked within 5 seconds. So, I'd love to go a little deeper into what should be on our homepage and how we would approach that. So, if someone lands on your website, what should they know instantly within 5 seconds?
Within 5 seconds, you have to communicate what you do, how it's going to make my life better, and what you want me to do next. That first section on your homepage, if you can't communicate those three things in 5 seconds, most likely people are going to bounce. I really liken this to driving down the freeway at 90 miles per hour with the billboard on the side of the freeway. You know, if the billboard has too many words or is too poetic or too clever or too cute, like we are not going to read it. You have got 5 seconds to really make that connection. The visitor is what they're trying to figure out right off the bat is, am I in the right place? So don't overthink this section. Make it so simple that a caveman could grunt what you do to another caveman and both of them clearly understand what it is that you do. That's really one of the most important things that you can do because if you do that right, you've just earned a little bit of trust and you've just earned a little bit of time. So if they land there and they're like, okay, I'm in the right place, they're going to scroll down the page and you're going to have an opportunity to really continue that connection with them and really nurture that relationship so they can get the confidence that they need in order to click on your call to action.
That makes total sense, and I love the caveman test too, because I think a lot of times we think about it from our perspective. We think about our website, our copy from our perspective, and it's like, well, of course it makes sense, but if someone's never been in your energy, they don't know what you do. They're there for the first time. To your point, the brain wants to conserve calories. It doesn't want to have to think too hard. So we got to make it so easy and simple. And that's actually a great service to other people. You spoke just now about calls to action, and that's actually something I wanted to ask you about too. So, what is the difference? Like, how do we know if we have a strong call to action on our site or a weak one? How would you say we can distinguish between
Oh
those?
my gosh, there's so much you can do in a very short amount of time to tune up your calls to action. They need to be number 1 actionable. So they need to start with an actionable word, whether it's book a call, schedule a call, take the quiz, whatever it is that you want them to do, you want to start with an actionable word. Most of my clients are service providers, so their main call to action is to get on a call with them. And so the way we make this more compelling is we weave in a benefit into the call. So for my own call to action, for example, is book a money making messaging call. So you know that when you get on this call with me, it's going to be valuable to you. Whether you work with me or not, you're going to walk away with insights and action items that you can implement right away. And that's a really good example of a good call to action. When I tuned up my own call to action, my bookings doubled literally overnight. Yeah, before I had, and it wasn't terrible before, but it was vague. It was book a discovery call, or I think actually it was book a clarity call. Nothing wrong with that, but the more tangible you can be with the benefit that they're going to get on the call. And that doesn't mean you need to give away a free coaching call. You can really just begin to walk them through what it's going to look like to work with you and what the steps are that they need to do next. Even that's of huge value to them. So you really want to weave the benefit into the call to action. And if the call to action is a little bit long, that's okay. It will work.
Huge difference, right, between book a clarity call or discovery call, which is what everyone says, versus what do you say, a money-making
Book a money-making messaging call. I'm a
money-making messaging call.
yes, I love
I love
alliteration, so it
that.
can be fun to
Yes.
do that in one of those
Yes.
calls. Yeah.
We are going to so we're gonna, have some fun. I'm gonna be vulnerable and allow you to give me some feedback on my side. And, I'll say a few things with this. So one, I know it needs updating. We had a really, brilliant, talented designer come in and build it about 4 years ago, and I haven't really changed a lot in terms of messaging on the site since then. And so, I think this will be a fun opportunity for people to hear in real time, like, here are some of the tweaks, here are some of the things that will make a big difference. And one thing I'll say to our listeners is, if you are listening to this on audio, totally great, but be sure you're subscribed on YouTube because you can actually see when we're doing visuals like this. So we'll have a visual of the site pulled up. But Kris, are you game for a little real time website audit? I'm going to take notes and then I'm going to try my best not to make changes before this episode comes out so that people can see.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
so it's elisearcher.com, and maybe you share with me, what's working, what's missing, and is there one like, what's the one tweak that you see that you think could make the biggest difference? And I think that everyone could benefit from this.
I love doing this kind of work. So, when I land on your page, there's a wonderful video of you. You're doing a lot of things right, right? The video is kind of in the background. It's got this blue kind of tone on top of it that allows me to be able to read the main headline. The main headline is the most important part of the page because again, if we lose them here, we've just lost a potential client. So we really want to get this right. And the things that I would do for your site would be so the video. People have a lot of opinions about video, and video can be used in beautiful ways on your website and can really show like this video shows your energy, your enthusiasm. It shows that you're a thought leader in this space, but the rapid motion of the video is competing with the words, right? My eye doesn't know where to go. Should I be watching this video and lots of movement and action in the video, or should I be focusing on the words? The words are also moving. And so my brain is a little bit overwhelmed, and you are the opposite of that. And having known you for many years, that is not what you're about, and that's the first impression that I'm getting here is just there's too much movement, and I can't quite just calmly arrive and digest the message without competing factors. So the way that I would resolve that, because I do really like the video and I think it builds your authority, I would turn that video into a slow motion, like down to like 0.25 speed. So it shows you walking on stage, but it's not as like a frenetic multiple cuts type of movements. I think just that would change the vibe of the website in a big way. And then I would remove the animation that happens here with the it's time to achieve. It says it's time to achieve more quantum leaps. It's time to achieve record breaking sales goals. So it's just taking me time to digest this message. And this is going to get missed because people are going to keep moving down the page after 5 seconds. So I would remove that animation and just say it very clearly. It's time to achieve quantum leaps and record breaking sales goals. And simple headline. And then I think the subheadline is lovely. I really love the subhead. In this section, we're trying to achieve three things. What do you do? How's it going to make my life better? And what do you want me to do next? So that what do you do is really captured in the subhead that you have. Elise Archer empowers entrepreneurs and sales professionals to revolutionize how they sell, explode their income, and achieve quantum leaps in all areas of life. So strong. We've woven in the benefits. We've talked about how you do this, your area of expertise, super clear. And then below that, you have kind of a bar of logos of companies that you've been featured in, like Forbes, Salesmate, Salesforce, all of those wonderful authority builders. Really, really beautifully done. Um, the piece about what do you want me to do next? I'm is a little bit vague here. So you've got 5 sales scripts to increase your close rate 50% or more. The lead magnet, and you've had this lead magnet for a while because I've downloaded it myself. But when you find something that works, you stick with it. And people really need help in this area. Um, so I love the lead magnet that you have here. It feels to me a little bit premature to introduce that lead magnet. I'm still first wanting to know, like, do you understand my problem? Do you care about my success? What's my life going to look like after we've worked together? And all of those things are going to help me feel connected to you and really answer the three questions that I have in my brain at this point, which are what's in it for me, what's in it for me, and what's in it for me. And so by really leading with showing me that you understand my struggle and where I'm stuck and what I'm frustrated by, and then following that with what does my life look like after working with you? These are not features of working with you. It's benefits that my life is gonna experience after working with you. And then as we move down the page, um, you start here with a problem headline, which is, does making the money you actually want feel like a constant struggle? I love this headline because it really identifies the problem that, I want to make more money, but it feels like a constant struggle. You're naming that. I don't know if I would um, pose this as a question. I'm not against it, but I might just state it like this is a fact. For many entrepreneurs, making the money, or you work with employed people too. So um, you know, for many women, making the money you actually want feels like a struggle. That's a statement. That's a truth. That's a reality. And it's stronger than a question. Again, I'm not against questions, but it does cause my brain to need to burn more calories versus a statement. And then that's followed by 4 fairly long paragraphs of copy, and I can tell without reading all the copy, I can tell that it's beautifully written. It's just that people don't read websites anymore. They scan them. So I would recommend, like, cutting that down to half, and our brains really love bullet points. So if it's in a paragraph, a long paragraph, see if you can't challenge yourself to converting that into bullets. Bullets allow our eyes to enter in and exit out without committing to reading a long body of copy. So that could make shifting those 4 paragraphs into bullet form could make this section be way more digestible for the human brain. And then you have the next section is really a question, which is, are you ready to blow your mind with what's possible in a year? I would love to see you shift this into more of a philosophical statement, putting your stake in the ground around what you believe is true or what you believe they deserve, right? You did you deserve to blow your own mind in the next 12 months. Um, you deserve a clear path to um I love this line, you know you weren't born to play small. So how can we shift that into more of a like a that could be a great philosophical statement. I believe you weren't born to play small. This gets people to rally around our bigger vision. Um, and then you have services here, corporate you've got 3 buckets, corporate consulting, private and group coaching, and then speaking and interviews. So what's happened here is you're introducing yourself as the guide, showing your areas of service. And this is a very important part of the page, but I would push it down below. Prior to this, we really need to outline uh, the benefits of this. So, what are the 3 big benefits to when you don't play small anymore, when you have blown your own mind in the next 12 months? What's your life look like? Wake up excited, about the day because you know money is coming to you in every moment. Um, pull up, log into your bank and see you'll be able to word this better because of writing on the fly is always hard. But
Totally
um,
put you on the spot here, but this is so good.
yeah, log into your bank account and be astounded by the amount of money in there.
Mhm.
Um, and, make decisions, do the things that you want to do without any kind of limited thinking or restrictive thinking around money. So those are kind of 3, off the cuff, huge ways. So that answers that question that my brain is having around what's in it for me? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? Now I know very clearly. Now I'm invested in you. Now at this point, I actually am asking the question, "Okay, who's behind all this? I'm in. I'm engaged. I'm in. Who's behind all this?" And then you get to come into this story about a third of the way through as the guide, as, the Yoda, or, as I'm trying to think of a modern day example, but, as Haymitch in Hunger Games was the guide to Katniss. Guides don't need to be perfect. They don't need to brag. They don't need to boast. They just need to step into the story with endless empathy because they understand the struggle so deeply that their clients are going through. So they can just step in and be like, I get it. You know, feeling stuck or feeling limited uh, around your money mindset is really hard. It's so simple. Just like this is kind of back to that coffee conversation that you would have with someone. I get it. This is hard.
This is brilliant. I have just taken so many notes on what you're sharing, and what I love too is none of it requires, like, a huge overhaul. It really is simple tweaks, but with just a different perspective, um, which you're so brilliant at providing. So I would love if you could share, because people are, again, they're listening and they're saying, "Okay, I want Kris to do that for my side. I need to connect with her." Please share with everyone where they can go to get connected, how they can, look at working with you and just all the ways to dig into your work even more?
Well, everything about me, what I'm doing, booking a call with me can be found on my website, reddoorstories.com. And you can book a money making messaging call. I will pull up your website during the call and we'll walk through it and kind of figure out where are the holes in your story? What are the elements that you can plug up right away? So I would encourage those calls are free. I would encourage anybody to go to my website and book a call. I also have on the website a free guide that shows you how to really change the lens that you look at your business with. So, how can you shift from being the hero of your own story to being the guide in the story and really positioning your clients as the hero of the story? That's what's going to turn your website into your top sales employees. So, I have a free guide called How to Write Compelling Copy in 5 Minutes Flat. I also just came out with a book. So if you can't afford to work with me one on one, my rates are very reasonable. But if for some reason you're in a phase of business where you need to DIY things, I would highly recommend getting my book. It's called From Click to Client. It's almost out. You can go to my website and go to the book tab and get on the wait list to be notified.
So exciting, and congrats, by the way. Huge, like, huge accomplishment. We will link everything in the show notes, and I highly encourage so everyone go, grab Chris's book as well as book the session and go to her I mean, I know everything will be clear and easy to follow, and you will see how you'll see in real time what Chris has taught us today too, so it'll be a beautiful opportunity to see this and witness this. Thank you again. I so appreciate it. And just even on the spot, the feedback, the advice that you gave was really powerful. So I appreciate you, Chris. I appreciate you coming in and sharing your brilliance, your zone of genius with our audience, because everyone here who's listening is looking to make a greater impact in the world and looking to really connect authentically with their followers and with the people they are called to serve. To you, my listener, I want to thank you for listening to the Superhuman Selling podcast. And I want to remind you to trust yourself on your path to success. Your desires are green lights leading you and everyone around you to a brighter future. We'll see you on the next episode.